What's poppin' T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I am here with a season premiere, actually series premiere review of STARZ new show, Run the World. This show is like basically a black Sex in the City, living single type show. Girlfriends, I'm really here for it. I pray that you guys watch this show and support it. It actually premieres tonight on STARZ, but if you have the STARZ app, or if you have STARZ on demand, you can watch the episode on Saturday nights, or actually Sunday morning at 12 a.m. So the show starts off with cameos by the one and only Bevy Smith and Chef Marcus Samuelson, who owns the restaurant Red Rooster, where the ladies are frequenting. So the girls are there kicking it, and they're partying, they're having a great time. And then we see Ella, who is the chocolate girl with the low haircut like mine. I love her. She is gorgeous. We see her the next morning knocked out in bed with her shoes still on, child. So Renee, played by Brisha Webb, is at the bodega, and this white woman is bumping into her child, and she like, child, if you don't get this colonizer, this Karen away from me. Like, she trying to keep her composure, she trying to keep it together, she trying to keep it cute. It's too early in the morning because the white folks out. But she calls Ella to wake her up, to remind her about her first day of work. And she like, oh shit, like I have overslept, like oh my god. So she gets up, she's rushing, smelling drugs and shit to see if they clean. She on the phone with her taking the shower. And, you know, Ella is just wondering, like, why did I, work my ass off all these years? Why did I just not sleep my way to the top like everybody else? And sometimes I wonder the same thing, too. Like, why work when everybody out here being hoes and getting to the bag? Like, why not just take it the easier route? So, Renee is at the bodega, and the white lady just keep on bumping into her, and then she ends up giving her the Phenomenal Woman poem by Maya Angelou, child. And it was funny, but I hated Renee's hair, Risha Webb's hair in that scene. I don't know what in the mushroom in the 80s was going on, but I was not feeling it. I, however, was really feeling Ella's outfit to go to work in. Like, she looked fabulous, loving the ensembles. I want to check to see who's doing the styling for this show. So then we meet Whitney, who is at home working out, when she gets a phone call from her mother about inviting some Aunt Zelda that she ain't seen in forever to her wedding. And she like, mama girl, I got to go. Now, we still have not met her fiance, but we see that she is very hyper, very work orientated, like on the go, eager beaver type of character. So then we see Sandy. I love that name, by the way. She's in bed fucking her nigga Matthew, who is played by Stephen Shep with his fine ass. They in there bumping and grinding. They trying to keep their voices down, but they're having a really hard time because it's just hitting it right. And then he gets the knock on the door from his daughter Amari, who is just so cute. At first I couldn't figure out if it was a girl or a boy, but figured out that it was a girl, and she's super cute. Then we transition to them all in the kitchen, preparing for breakfast in the day. And Sandy gives Amari a pair of brown ballet slippers, because that's how black ballerinas do it. Pink shoes on a brown leg is a broken line. That I've learned that. Didn't know that. So you could tell by the reaction on the little girl's face that she was appreciative of it, but it was just like, don't really like these. So then Matthew gives Sandy the tuition check for her ballet class, so when she goes to pick her up, she can pay it for him. So we really get to see, like I said, this cute family vibe with them, and they just seem like, this really beautiful family. So Ella is at her job at a record label, and Erica Alexander from Living Single is playing her boss. And she's just being Erica Alexander, just so funny. It's just, I love every time I get the opportunity to see her on screen. She's just wonderful. So we find out that Ella has written a failed book. It didn't do what she thought it was going to do. And now she's basically tucking her tail between her legs and returning to the record label that she used to work for. And that with the book that came out, she has now been labeled a regressive feminist. So life is not really that going that well for Miss Ella. So Erica Alexander gives her her first work assignment, and it is to cover Soldier Boy's party, and she looking like this is what my life has resulted in. Like, I cannot believe that I'm here. So Barb, played by Erica Alexander, reminds her that she begged her for this job. Like, girl, like, you need to be more grateful. And Ella realized, like, yeah, like, I am tripping, and she thanks her for the opportunity and giving her a goddamn job. So then we see Sandy goes to Amari's ballet class. And in this scene is when we learn that she's not actually Amari's biological mother. I thought that her and Matthew's character were married, but we find out that she's just a girlfriend, and that she's been in Amari's life since she was 4, and Amari is now 6. And I was like, ooh, okay, now this is a cute little dynamic here. We're building conflict. So she talks to some of the other moms, and one of the moms was played by Danielle from American Next Top Model. So good to see her. She's still beautiful and stunning. And when she looks into the class, she notices that all of the girls in the class are either white or racially ambiguous. So it's really not setting well with her. So when class is over, she sits and talks to Amari and realizes that she didn't wear the brown ballet shoes that she gave her. And Amari says that she left them at home, but we all know that she left them at home on purpose. And you can tell, like, it kind of bothered Sandy. So Sandy then gets up to go pay the tuition bill, and the dean or the teacher or whatever says that they don't normally take late checks, but they really like Amari. And Sandy looking at her like, bitch, what the fuck you mean? Like, the fuck? And then she goes even further to insult her by saying, you might want to look into the scholarship program for underprivileged children. And Sandy looking like, no, bitch. And she was like, no need for that. It'll just end up in the trash. Like, you're not gonna come to us like we ain't got no money. So then the lady gives her a nutritional pamphlet so she can avoid the pitfalls that happen to girls with her ethnic background. And at that point, Sandy had it, and she snatched that goddamn check back and dipped the fuck up out of there. Like, girl, you got us all the way fucked to the up. And we then see that night, Sandy is out with the girls, and she's telling them how Matthew was mad at her and texting her mad because of what happened at the school. But if he would be paying attention, he would see that is not a good environment for that little girl to be in. So Sandy says that she's going to enroll Amari in the dance theater of Harlem. And Whitney tells her that, maybe you should ask Matthew that first. And I agree, like, you're not her mother. Yeah, you're in her life, but you're not her mother, and you do need to run that past her father. Like, this is the conflict of being a girlfriend / stepmom without the actual title, and you're doing a lot, but he's asking you of this, but then he wants to hold you back from doing too much. It's just a blurred line that a lot of women and men have faced with dating people with children. So the girls are doing invitations while they're out for Whitney's wedding, and they're overwhelmed because she got like over 300 invitations. And Ella was like, I thought you were supposed to be having a small, intimate wedding. And Whitney was like, it's no longer my wedding. It's my fiance, who's African, and his mama and 15 aunties, and my mother and her society friends. Like, she's just completely overwhelmed by it all. So Ella asks her, has she gotten her African dress for the wedding yet? And she was like, no, I have not. The colors is like brown and blue, like just So Sandy prepares to leave to go listen to Matthew's reading of his essay, and Ella asks them, no, like, don't leave, like, I want y'all to go to this Soldier Boy event with me. And Sandy looking like, girl, the fuck no. But Renee is all for it. She was like, Soldier Boy, tell him, let's go. So they all change and they head to the party. Renee got her ponytail on, child, thinking she doing it. I hated that hairstyle too as well, but I love Risha Wells' character. Ella heads up to interview Soldier Boy with Renee, but the security guard won't let them in. because he says that, there's not doing press that night. And so she sees this Asian dude named Brian that she used to work with. And he was like, oh, like you black back slumming it with, us little peons now. And she looking like, look, child young fat, are you going to help me get in or not? So he then goes over to like see if he can get her in. But the security guard tells them that they're too old. And I was like, I know you fucking lying. I wish this big black motherfucker would have said some shit like that to me. Like, excuse you? I hate when I even call ma'am by people because I be looking like, do I really look like a ma'am now? Like, nigga, my outfit fresher than yours. How the fuck you gonna call me a ma'am? Like, I get so irritated when people call me ma'am. Like, that pisses me the fuck off. So, they storm off and blow the whistle by Too Short start playing and Renee start turning up. That's me and Monique shit right there. So I was like, blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. I'm up here kicking it too. So Ella then finds Whitney flirting with this dude that done fucked half of their crew and reminds her that she is getting married and that you missed that window on being a hoe. And Whitney was like, apparently I missed the window for a lot of things. I spent my 20s cooking, cleaning, and fucking my college sweetheart instead of fucking that guy who Ella tells her got excellent peen. So we're seeing that, Whitney is struggling with whether or not to go through with this marriage. Is she missing something? Has she missed something in her life by staying with one guy? And we're really starting to see the discord in her life. Sandy arrives at Matthew's reading and makes her presence known by debating, his theory in his thesis or whatever. And you see this, really strong chemistry between them and how they initially connected because he's her superior at the school or her teacher or something to that effect. So Ella then runs into an old flame at the club named Anderson. And she's shocked to see him. And she was like, what are you doing in the country? Like, nigga, you don't even live here. Like, what the fuck? So he was like, I'm back, and she was like, your call's still dropping because my number hasn't changed. So obviously he like ghosted her. And Renee sees them talking. And she was like, oh no, not today, Satan. And Anderson was like, excuse me? And she was like, yeah, that's your new name. Like, nigga, you was the devil. You did my girl wrong. You got to go. So Renee has to go pee and tells Ella to, protect her black girl magic. Don't fall for the foolishness, girl. So as soon as she walks away, however, Anderson throws on the lovey-dovey shit and says that he misses her. And she tries to stay strong. And she was like, well, I don't miss you. And then he leans in and kisses her. And I have to say that those two actors, that kiss was sting me. Like, the kiss was everything. She falls into the kiss and then she gets her mind right and pulls away like, no, I'm not doing this shit. So she storms off. And I was like, I'm really loving Ella's story. I love her story the most so far. So Matthew tells Sandy that Amari was embarrassed and was upset by the way she handled things at the ballet class. And that, he asked, did it ever occur to her that she might have wanted just to wear the pink shoes because pink is her favorite color. And because she's a 6-year-old. And so, where was I at? Sandy says she wants to be like those other little girls, and sooner or later they're going to remind her that she's different. And I understood both ends because he's a dad. He's looking at it like she's just a kid. Let her be. Let her have fun. Let her want to mix in with these other children. But on the other hand, I understand where Sandy's coming from because I too was in a position that Amari was in growing up, going to a predominantly white school, where it was 1 to 2 black children in a whole class of white kids. So from 1st grade to 3rd grade, I went to this predominantly white school and found myself wishing that my hair texture was like theirs, wishing that my skin was like theirs, talking hella like proper and saying like every fucking second and wanting to be white. Like, for a minute there, I actually wanted to be white. I did not like the color of my skin. I was reminded that I was not like them when the little girls didn't want to play with me or when I was called nigger. So when I did start going into a predominantly black school, it took me a minute to adjust being around people that looked like me, talked like me, acted like me. You know what I'm saying? And it made me feel a lot more confident. I didn't have these feelings of not feeling good enough anymore. So I understood where Sandy was coming from too. So Matthew was like, you make everything a protest song. And Sandy was like, I'm trying to teach her. And Matthew was like, stop. I love that you have a great relationship with her, but once again, you've overstepped. Sometimes I wish you would grow up. And I was like, now wait a minute now. Now wait a minute the fuck now. So Sandy was like, excuse me, I spend my days taking care of you and some other chick's child. That is as grown up as it gets for me. And she storms out. And I was like, I know that's right. Like, you want, this is where the conflict comes in, because you want her to be this mother figure for your daughter and take her to school and pick her up and be there for her. But then at the same token, when she wants to assert herself in a motherly position, then you want to tell her she doing too much and she overstepping her boundaries. And this is my child. Well, which the one the fuck is it, sir? So Ella then asks Brian, the Asian guy, if he wants to share a cab uptown. He looking like, oh, so that's the go ahead that we about to get it in. So they get in the cab and they make it out, and he's trying to suck on her breast, and the cab driver was like, not in my car, not today. So they get to his car, to his crib, and they trying to smash, but he got whiskey dick and can't get it up and is embarrassed. And she comes back to her senses, realizing that she's only trying to have sex with him to mask her feelings for Anderson being back. So she leaned over and realized that this nigga ain't even got a bed post. This nigga got a mattress on the bed and got a room full of sneakers. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm too old for this foolishness. And so she tells him, like, boy, if you don't get a bed frame and and got the hell up and left. So they start playing my favorite singer, Alex Isley. I've been trying to put y'all on for years. They start playing Alex Isley, We'll Always Have Paris. As Ella goes over to Sandy's house, she has a key to her house. And Sandy like, girl, I gave you a key to my house. That don't mean that you just get to barge up in my shit at any time of the night. So Ella asked her how things went with Matthew, and she was like, I'm fucking my thesis advisor, which could lead to him being fired. Like, it's just a whole big ass mess. And I was like, that's going to eventually happen, or the faculty is going to find out he's fucking her, and it's going to be a big ass problem. And then I'm probably imagining that if Amari's mother isn't deceased, that she's going to come back, and that's going to be an issue. So Ella then tells her that Anderson is back and that she kissed him. And Sandy was like, I'm going to need to fuck this dude, because I don't get it. Like, I don't get why you so enamored by this motherfucker that treats you bad. And Ella was like, it's not about sex. He's my Big from Sex and the City. And Sandy was like, girl, no, he not. Big was tall, rich, and had a driver. If you're going to humiliate yourself for a man, he needs to be tall, rich, with a driver. And I was like, that's what I be trying to tell y'all. Shit, if y'all gonna take shit, need to be with somebody that is rich. You need to fuck with a purpose. So she then says, until a man is 35, she was like, no, I told you about dating men under 35. Until a man is 35, all he has to offer is poor, conflicted dick. And I was like, girl, that ain't even true, because shit, I'm about to be 40 in a few months, and these niggas that's over 35 still ain't got it the fuck together. So Ella gets an alert about her story that she wrote on the Soulja Boy party, and she based the story about how Soulja Boy wouldn't allow her in because of her age, and it is blowing up on the internet. And she was like, yep, I'm about to do this shit. And then at the end of the episode, we see Whitney in bed with the man whore from the club that fucked Ella and Renee, and she done got her back cracked, and she has loved it, and now she is spiraling out of control because this girl is about to be married. So I give the series premiere of Run the World, I give it a B+. It's nothing that we haven't already seen before, but it's very entertaining, and it's just so good to see Black representation on television with Black successful, beautiful women. And I'm also excited to see chocolate girls being represented alongside of the fairer skinned Black girls. Off top, my favorite storyline is Ella's, then Sandy's. We didn't really learn much about Renee except for the fact that she used to be married, and then like she's going through this party girl phase. And then I would say Whitney's character right now is like my least favorite storyline. But loving the girls, loving the cast, the chemistry, the outfits, the guest appearances, and all of that. I can't wait to see how the season progresses. I do want you guys to watch this show and support it so we can get a season 2. I'm loving the fact that STARZ has so much African American representation on the network, so I'm going to support it just for that alone. But overall, it is a good show. So let me know what you thought of the series premiere episode of Run the World. I will be doing reviews on it every week. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. And if you have not purchased my 40th birthday box, what are you waiting for? The link is down below in the description box. I love you guys. See you on the next video. Bye.